Welcome to my Puerto Rican lifestyle. This is my Puerto Rican lifestyle. My Puerto Rican lifestyle. And I'm out here having a good time. I think I'm day 3. I think I'm day 3 in Puerto Rico, which is so fun, you guys. I don't know if you saw some of our posts, some of our posts on moving down here last June, but it was a 6-week. It was a 6-week enrollment process with my husband. And we, when you have a moment in your life where you're nervous or you're scared about making a change, but you need to make it. You know what I mean? Like, just let me know in the comment section, yes or no. So I can't see all of the social channels right now. If you're just tuning into us, we have Shanda on Demand, where I go live and I show people how to manage their mind, how to create the money that they want, and how to create the business that they want, and how to deal with the hard decisions that you need to make. Right? The hard decision that we needed to make to move to Puerto Rico, the hard decisions that you have, that you're contending with in your own life, in your business right now, and even in your relationships, all of these hard moments that you have to walk through to be able to become extraordinary. In fact, I just finished coaching somebody this morning in a VIP session, and it was wild to watch how successful she is and how many mind viruses get in the way of going to the next level. Can anybody relate with me? Yes or no? Yes or no? So we're streaming again on Shanda on Demand. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook right now. And the whole purpose, or the whole theme for the rest of this month, really got inspired by the fact that so many people don't know how to close out their quarter. Like, how many of you guys think you closed out last year well? Any of you guys feel like you closed out last year well? Yeah? Kim, you think you closed out last year well? So great if you did, but I'm going to tell you most people didn't. They brought last year's stuff into this year. And there's people who right now are watching that. Are you on track for your KPIs this year, your goals this year, or are you already off track? And I want to share something with you. First of all, I'm going to help get you on track. And it's not intuitive, because what's intuitive is to keep writing to-do lists and keep scribbling all the things that you need to do and being busy in the weeds and not creating results. And I'm going to tell you 2 things right now. Number 1 is, what do you need to let bleed? What do you need to let bleed right now? What do you need to let bleed? Go in the comment section and let me know. What do you need to let bleed right now? Right? And so bleeding could be, for forever, I let social media bleed. Not Facebook people, not Facebook, but I allowed all the rest of the social media bleed. And the reason why I did that is because I was busy building out content plans. I was busy doing events. I was busy making money. I was busy making sure that my community was getting the results. I do believe right now we are the highest metrics on clients actually getting their results. I do believe that. I've not seen anybody in the industry that their business coaching programs are getting the same results. Now, I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying they may be not tracking that as a goal or a KPI. Does that make sense? So when you're looking at what are you tracking to determine on whether or not we're successful or not, I wanted to talk to you about a very important topic, which is certainty today. And certainty is a wild, wild thing, because you won't go all in on something if you don't feel certainty. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I want you to ask yourself right now, are you playing all in? Do you need to allow something to bleed in your life right now that is not currently bleeding? And what would that be? Because everything's important, right? What would that be? Because everything's important. Give me 1 second. There we go. So, Jonathan, I just sent you a text message as well, please. Okay. So when I look at certainty, and why I wanted to start with this topic this week, is because it's so easy. It's so easy to write to-do lists and to get busy in the to-do list and miss the money. So I want you to write down, where do you make the most amount of money in your business? So for me, it would be if I did VIP days, but I can't I can't do a bunch of VIP days because then it screws up my calendar to work on my business. True story. I remember the first time my business grew to a certain level, and I used to coach when you worked with me privately. Some of you guys are gonna be like, I do this now. And I used to work with people 4 hours a month. Like if you worked with me privately and you were a private client, I used to work 4 hours a month, which was I would do an hour call every single week with what I called a diamond client. I want to tell you I evolved. I no longer call my coaching programs jewelry. I've evolved past the jewelry. But I didn't know any better because when I started my coaching program, that's what everybody did. How many of you guys are in that situation right now? You're in an industry standard, and you may or may not know what your industry standard is, but you're just kind of following the mold, right? And so I didn't know any better. And so I worked with people for 4 hours a month. And that's what I thought I needed to give in order to have people pay me. And growing a business, you do need to focus on revenue generating activity. I remember the day when I couldn't grow my business anymore because my calendar was so full with coaching clients. Now, coaching clients, if you're a real estate agent, it might be buyers. You might be like, what's the problem, Shanda? That's what you want. Because as your business grows, you come up with these different moments where you start to break. Who's in a breaking moment right now? Who's in a breaking moment right now? Who's in a breaking moment right now? And do you know what that breaking moment, what needs to be solved to have that breaking moment come together? So as we walk through Shanda On Demand for the next couple weeks, what I want you to focus on is I want you to be hyper aware today on where are the areas that you're bleeding and where are the areas that you're lacking certainty. So everybody has them. So one of the challenges I have with growing my company is nobody runs priorities the way I run them. Now you might say that's pompous of me to say. It's not. It's actually me admitting that I have not found a way to communicate that. I haven't found a way to communicate that to replace certain hats that I wear inside the company. So notice, does anybody notice what I just did right there? I kept my power. See, the minute that you believe that something is impossible or something's hard or something is, you hear yourself talking like that, the minute that you put yourself in a position where you blame or you say that, I remember there's no good men that live in Las Vegas. There's lots of good men that live in Las Vegas. When I lived in Vegas, I was like, there's no good men that live in Vegas, right? And so, but we do that in business. We're like, we're in a recession, we're in AI, we're in this. I'm going to tell you, if you're going to finish this quarter out, and finish it out right, you 100% are going to have to prioritize right. So I want you to grab a pen and paper, and I want you to work through this with me right now. And we're not going to have a long Shanda On Demand. We're going to have a great start to the week, and I'm going to give you homework that I want you to be working on so that I can help you finish this quarter really strong. But you have to be willing to give up some of your justification on why things don't work. You're going to have to be willing to say, I'm going to allow that to bleed, because what you're saying is, I don't have the leadership to be able to stop that bleed. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The dumbest advice on the planet is multiple streams of income when you don't have one up, right? Another big problem that people have is balance. I'll give you a great example. There's somebody that I'm working with here in Puerto Rico who is brilliant, by the way, super smart woman. And I already gave her some coaching. I was like, you need to reprioritize things. She prioritized her dog. She might even see this, which is okay. We had a great conversation about it, but she prioritized her dog training class over making income. We're in a recession. I can tell you that's exactly why her company hasn't grown. But the dog training class is only for 6 weeks. No, nothing is only for 6 weeks. A thinking pattern is how you think. A thinking pattern is how you think. And so there's moments where you have to raise the white flag. And you got to say, I got to let this area of my life bleed right now. If you've got a social media manager and you're building out social media platforms and spending $1,300 a month or $2,000 a month, and you don't have enough money to pay for a coach, you're prioritizing the wrong thing. If you're podcasting and you have no email list and you have no text message, you're prioritizing the wrong thing. Are you guys okay with me being honest like this? If you are building out a program, product, or service, and you've got no audience to sell it to, you're prioritizing the wrong thing. I wish I had my flip chart. I'll have my flip chart tomorrow. Give me some grace because we're just a couple days into Puerto Rico and taking stuff out of storage right now. But when you look at your prioritization, I can tell you what results you're getting in on what you prioritize. So can I handle the kid thing for a second? And the husband thing and the wife thing and the relationship thing and the body breakdown thing? You guys good if I handle all this? Because let's just get it all out of the way right now. And because if you're going to finish the first quarter of this year and you're going to hit your KPIs, by the way, you can hit your entire quarter KPIs in the next 3 weeks. In other words, what you said you were going to do the first half of this year, you could hit in the next 3 weeks. You actually still have time. And if you operated like this at the beginning of the year, you would have already won and you would have been way exceeding the results that you're hitting right now. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You guys want to win? You want to win or do you want to whine? Go in the comment section. Do you want to win or do you want to whine? Okay, so I'm going to tell you really what it takes, just like I did with the woman who we hired to help us around our house and with our son. This woman is 1 month away from getting her, is it her MBA? I mean, she's brilliant. Okay, like I've never done anything like that. But in her conversation is, it's hard to find good nannies in Puerto Rico. It's hard to find consistency. And by the way, she does hard well, right? Because she's finishing a big accomplishment in school. But it's when the things get tight and hard that you ask yourself, for her, can she make money and grow a business and finish her MBA and get her dog trained? And I don't know if she's dating or that's a goal of hers. I don't know yet. But you can tell that the more she spends time around us, the more her company is going to grow. Or she's going to whine. Now I'm using her as an example because I know that many of you guys can see yourself in her. Am I right or am I right? There's areas in your life that you're trying to either, who are you? Are you the one trying to accomplish too much? And if you're trying to accomplish too much, you're whining about it. If you're not whining about it and you're not accomplishing it, you actually have the leadership skills to do it, which means you need to get intimate. So if I look at the reason why something, I'm breaking this down so you can see where is it breaking. So if you're not whining about your workload, then you actually probably have the leadership to accomplish it. Which if that's not happening, because we're talking about the end of this first quarter, if that's not happening, then I can tell you where you're breaking down. Intimacy. You're throwing spaghetti up against the wall to get shit done, and nobody underneath you is going to win, or nobody around you, including your family, because everything's done last minute. Right? I hate last minute. It's the biggest, like if I'm running point on any campaign, I like to be done 2 weeks early. I hate last minute. And anybody that I work with, like Sage Events, Barry and Blue, they have never done an event with me that I wasn't done 2 weeks early. Before I walk into my big zone event, the whole week before my zone event, I'm doing nothing but running, working out, loving up my son, my husband, getting pedicures, getting my hair done. I have a really big wide open week. Why? Because I want to walk into that event in my power. I don't want to walk into that event like haggard. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? And so that's about prioritizing. So as we look at the last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks, is it 3 weeks? Guys, how many weeks do we have left? And by the way, I'm going to work right through my flex week for you guys. So we got this week, next week, and the week after. And if you don't know, I'm doing something really interesting this month. I'm doing something called the Shanda, the Shanda on Demand experience, where some people are going to join me on Zoom afterwards, and I'm going to start running plans and prioritize them. I'm going to coach them so they prioritize money-making activities. They get out from the wine and they move into the winning. If you want to be a part of that, it's only for this month. It's $30. It's very, very inexpensive. You go to joinvip.com. Join me in VIP.com. So somebody write that in the chat. Join me in VIP.com. If you jump onto that right now, after I'm done today's training, and after I'm done every day on Shanda On Demand, you can join me in the VIP experience. I think it's a great opportunity for us to get close. I actually think it's something I should do forever, but I'm not doing it forever because it's way too much of a commitment for me to do forever. See, I'm being honest with you where my leadership's at. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to unhook you from the bad, good, evil, shame, whatever, and saying, listen, areas that you're breaking in your leadership, you got to build team. Areas that you're not hitting your goals, we need to close the gaps. We want to finish the first quarter of this year strong. You don't want to have on your books an incomplete. Something we do inside of our 1% club, which is my private clients, is when they get stuck, you guys don't have to drop that Cassandra in VIP because they're already in here. But just on our social channels. So one of the things that, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, hold on, give me 2 seconds. Don't you hate it when that happens where you're like on and it's gone? It's like, it's right there, it's gone. Another human moment. Darn it, where was it? It was so important. Finishing out the quarter. So in 1%, which is my private sector where I work with a small group of people, when they're stuck, I have them track their hours. And like literally it was, what time did you get up this morning, y'all? Just put in the comments, what time did you get up this morning? So I got up this morning at 3 a.m. California time. And so what time, I'm not in California, I'm in Puerto Rico. So I feel like I slept in. So that's a real mind warper for me here. So if I got up at 3 a.m. or 6 a.m., some of you guys got 6:15, 5 a.m., 5:40. Gosh, you guys are early birds. Wow, we have a really early community, 5:45, 3:30. That's wild. You guys are at 7 a.m. So good. Okay, so what I do, this would actually be great for you to do all week. Are you guys game for some like up leveling? This would be great for my team to do. This would be great for everybody watching to do. This is a telltale sign about what's happening. This is intimacy. See, like intimacy will show you the pattern. So what I recommend that you do when we get off Shanda On Demand is I recommend you track the hours of the rest of the day. And the way you do it is you say, okay, from say it's noon your time when we finish, right? You go from noon to 1, I'm going to create this result. And then the answer is simple, yes or no. The answer is simple, yes or no. Did I do it or did I not do it? It is not, I did better than I've done before. It is not, I'm proud of myself. It is not, well, I kind of did it almost. I didn't finish that one thing. No, you either did 50 sit-ups or you didn't. You didn't do 49. You did 50 sit-ups or you didn't. You either had a hard conversation with somebody that you love and you're in a relationship with and you didn't get triggered or you did. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so what I want to do is bring your power back into you, because if I can show you, imagine you guys, if you would not get offended, not resist me for the next 3 weeks, imagine what could happen in your relationships, your finances, your business growth, your fitness, all of that. But I'm going to challenge you if you'll give me permission. So I'm going to ask everyone, I really recommend my team does this too. Track every hour and say, here's what my intention is. I'm going to create this result. And then yes or no. If you did not create the result, then I want you to just write why. I don't care if the why is a justification, an excuse. I don't need a label on it. I need you to see your pattern. Great example. We are doing Shanda On Demand. I don't have a house staff or team here right now, right? We just hired somebody. So that schedule is getting figured out right now. So the dogs are barking in the back, which throws me off. My setup's a little wonky right now, which shows you that you can do lives anywhere. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have a perfect studio like I normally have. You don't have to have any of that. You just need to connect. Connection is currency. Everybody should write that down. Connection is currency. I hope nobody walks in my front door or dings on a doorbell somewhere. It's like Fort Knox to get into this community. But if they do, it's going to be an imperfect human moment. I had to text message the house manager / nanny with my husband to connect outside because I was off on my timing, human moment. I was off on my timing when Shanda on Demand starts. I had a VIP day that led right up to Shanda on Demand that I had to end 15 minutes early. I'm reconnecting with her on Wednesday, which actually works out better for her, but that's a pivot. So course correction is a pivot. But if you don't look at what you said you were going to do in an hour, and if you hit it yes or no, I'm going to almost guarantee most of you, even the high performers, are going to have no's all over the day. And those no's are connected with leadership. Everything is connected with leadership. And the leadership will be, you haven't created a system or communication around you or depth of intimacy where people can help you and know what they're doing. And so what happens is things fall apart. You guys hearing me? Yes or no? Are you guys hearing what I'm saying? Yes or no? So the tracking of the hours, and I want you to do this all month. I know it's a pain in the you know what, but it's not, because you think you know where it's falling apart, but I guarantee you don't. When I couldn't lose weight, I was like, oh, I know what I have to do. I have to go to the gym, but I'm not going to the gym. No. The problem is you don't track, right? Or the problem is your blood sugar level spikes. Or the problem is, and you don't even know it because you're not tracking it. You think it's just going to the gym and eating healthy. But what if your body's changed? What if a hormone's changed? What if, you know what I mean? What if, y'all hear what I'm saying? Like, so intimacy is what gives us power. You guys liking this? Yes or no? Intimacy is what gives us power. So I never like to sit in this pompous, elitist, entitled mentality with love. Whenever I say with love, I'm trying to land it in a sweet way, right? But it's like, I never like to sit in that place. If anybody who's close to me knows, I'm always like, I'm mentoring with someone or I'm running my ideas by someone that I admire or respect that is, and they do the same with me, right? Like the same people I call me. And we run ideas by each other because we're trying to find, how do we get better? We get better with intimacy. You got to figure out where it's falling apart. And I promise you, it's not the high level thing that you see. It's the depth of the intimacy. Will you guys do this for me? Or will you do it for you? Forget me. This is about you. You want to become a high performer, figure out where you break your word. In our Heart Grow Leadership program, we talk about this all the time. I'm going to tell you, the hardest thing people have is keeping their word. Oh my God, my little son, I'm so sorry. Mommy or daddy got busy on a phone call. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable long-term. What are you training your kid to do? Not be connected with you when they're older. Prioritize everything else. But then you say, but family's more important than money or business. That's such a bad predicament to put somebody in. Why does it have to be an either or? So what I'm going to focus on Shanda on Demand, if you'll give me permission to be your coach, if you'll give me permission to be your coach, put the word coach in the comment section. That's how I know you've signed up to be coached this year or this month, not this year, this month. And you're giving me permission. And if you don't want me to go hard this month, then put an X, which means stop. Okay? And I'm going to coach you like I coach myself. I was sitting in Miami with my husband end of last year. And we always have a word for the year. We have an intention for the year. And it's the thing that's going to up-level our goals or our character. My friend Rex Crane, he doesn't put goals, he puts character goals. Right? So he knows at the depth of anything we touch, it comes from us. So if you have a temper tantrum behind closed doors, or you bitch and complain about people behind closed doors, you're a victim. And if you're a victim, then you have no power to be able to create the result that you want. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So all of these pieces, we want to bring together, bring your power back so that you finish the first quarter of this year. That's the whole intention on why I'm doing this. It's why I'm doing the joinmeinvip.com. If you want to get closer to me this month, for $30, you can jump into VIP with me and I'll coach you all month for $30, right? It'll be awesome, right? The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to see if you'll let me coach you. I'll show you how to raise your standards. to be able to close the gap. You can create the entire quarter results in the next 3 weeks. Isn't that wild? You can create the January's goals for the first quarter. Some of you guys didn't even have goals. You're going to have them now. So number one is I need you to set your targets. What was the target for this first quarter? And where are you off? Where's the gap? Where are you off? Now I want you to have fun with this. Wall size Post-its are my buddy. And I want you to ask yourself, if I was going to close the gap on that, what would have to shift? I'll show you how the hourly planning comes in or the hourly tracking comes in. I want you to play with this. You cannot live in it's impossible because you are boring at that point. If you live in it's impossible, you are average. Average never breaks through. Average says it's either money or family. It's either ambition or balance. It's either success or family time. It's either money doesn't grow on trees. It's you can't, you get what I'm saying, right? It's all that average stuff. It's the lingo that gets thrown around. Never want to live in that lingo. Okay, so you can't, so it's impossible that we can't close that gap. I want you to start thinking, it's impossible. Somebody's figured out how to close this gap. So why not me? So I want you to play with it, but you need to know what is the gap. So now what do you do if you didn't set targets for the first quarter of this year? Notice I'm not telling you to come up with your 3-week goal. Yeah, I'm saying, what was the freaking goal for the first quarter of this year? What was the main goal? You might have had 17 goals. Okay, so you're gonna have to let something bleed. What was the main goal? That if it happened the first quarter of this year, that you would be like, that was successful. What is that? I would love to, I'm going to go back and read the comments on YouTube and Facebook. So put that in. What was that? I don't want the 17 goals because there was a planning breakdown right there. There was a leadership breakdown right there. Okay, so I remember going in and going to Spanx with Sarah Blakely, and she created this amazing business program because everybody messages her and says, can I pick your mind? Yeah, that's really an easy thing for her to do, right? No, that's tough to pick her mind, especially one-on-one. This is why some of you guys need to go one-to-many. Connection is currency. You need to connect more. I'm going to start breaking this down over the next 2 weeks, or next 3 weeks. I keep thinking there's 2 weeks this month, but there's 3 more weeks. I'm going to work all 3 weeks with you and show you how to close the gaps in the areas that you don't know. But I want you to play in the idea that maybe you do know and there is a way. So I'm going to bring in cash injections. I'm going to bring in how do you afford team? I'm going to bring in where do you need things to bleed? I'm going to bring in lots of leadership because this whole game, 99% of my people who do my leadership program, who's ever done HCL, put HCL in the comment section. Who's done HCL, put HCL in the comment section. 99% of our client base that have done HCL have gotten their results. What does that mean to you? What that means to you is that this is not a how-to game. This is a how do you lead yourself game. And if you set goals at the beginning of this year and there were 17 of them, there was a leadership breakdown. That's not targeted enough. So if that was you, I want you to say, what was the one thing, actually all of you, what was the one thing if you accomplished it this first quarter of the year in business? What is that target that would have made the first quarter of this year successful? I don't want you to edit yourself and say, well, is that possible? It's not really possible. There's only 3 weeks left. That's where my job and my team's job comes in. You guys fair? My job and my team's job to coach you, but you need to show up with us every day for the next 3 weeks. Got it? If you're watching the replay on this, I want you to hit #replay so we know how many people are watching replays, okay? But if you can be on live with us, we want you to be on live. But no matter what, have a calendar booking that you are going to watch this Shanda on Demand all month, and you're going to allow me to coach you. You're going to allow our team to coach you, okay? And the comments tell me where I need to go. So if you're not speaking on the comments, then myself and my team can't design the curriculum around you to hit your mark. So what's the target for the first quarter of this year? Don't edit it. What's the main target? If you give me 2, I'm going to go poo-poo on you. You know what I mean? Like, no, bleed. Let that bleed. What's the one that's really important? Now here's where the confliction comes. Here's where the confrontation comes. What in your personal life is bleeding right now because you're aggressively trying to pursue a business goal? So I want you to write the word bleed and tell me what it is. Write the word bleed, otherwise I can't tell on the comments, okay? So write the word bleed and tell me what is bleeding in your personal life because of the pursuit of trying to grow a business. Okay, when you say self-care, Melissa, what do you mean? Okay, your family's bleeding, your community's bleeding. Alan, everything's not bleeding. There's something that's bleeding that is pulling your energy. Like it's hurting. You know, like if somebody's going through a divorce, that can really, really hurt your ability to focus, right? So I need to know this so that I can build this into the leadership of the curriculum. Do you see what I'm saying? So as I'm using storylines, I can use stories. Stories are what sell. I want to sell you that you can close your quarter well this year. I want to sell you on that idea so you go all in for the next 3 weeks. So you don't make Shanda on demand I'll be there when I can. So that you actually just treat it like you paid me $1 million to be here. Okay. So finances, source of income is bleeding. Unorganized house is bleeding. Yeah, that would drive me crazy. So I get it. Totally get it. Right. Being honest. Not dating because time goes by so fast, but I have a desire to be in a relationship. So good. Thank you guys for being honest. Like truly thank you for being honest, because now I can do something with what you're sharing with me. And I've got curriculum built out this week, but the stories and the leadership that I put behind it is what allows me to land the communication with you so it gets in. Right? It's got to get into your mind so you believe it, so you go all in. Because we're going to hit obstacles for the next 3 weeks. Y'all know that, right? You've already been hitting them, but we're going to hit obstacles. But as you turn up the volume of your commitment, which is another word to say is as we raise your standard, as we raise your standards in your life, which is where I'm going to get into your word now. I have no idea where that drilling is coming from. Can you guys hear the drilling? Can you hear it? This is so perfect. This is so freaking life, right? This is so perfect. Normally I'm in a studio. I love it. It does make it real, Sarah. It's so good. Do you know that there was a time? Tell me if you guys would get stressed out if you were doing something. I love the drilling. I actually hate the drilling, but I can't let it take me off. I can't let it take me off. If I let it take me off and you let it take you off, we're in trouble. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can't let it take you off. So I'm gonna wrap this up and pivot. Here's where the hourly tracking comes into this whole game. The hourly tracking is going to show us where you emotionally go off. So you and your customers or clients buy because of emotions. You need to understand one of the biggest reasons why you're going to make so much money in a recession is because the emotions are going to get high. Okay, so counselors, therapists, doctors, life coaches, fitness people, you're all, I'm gonna go out here. Okay, I'm gonna get attacked by the dogs now. Can you believe they charge $35,000 a month to stay in a condo like this? Isn't that crazy? Okay, oh my gosh, it's not. There's no drilling out here. Pivot. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up like this. I love this, by the way, because this is life. This is how the whole thing rolls, okay? So don't get stressed out. Don't let your emotions go off, because if you do, you're telling yourself and your customers and clients that you can't handle it. You're telling your spouses, your relationships, all those people that you can't handle it. The reason why some of you guys are in a situation where people don't support you or don't trust you is because you couldn't handle it in the past and they saw your emotions get away from you. Am I right? Right? They saw your emotions get away from you. And so you cannot allow your emotions to get away from you. People are going to buy because of emotions. You're going to drive something forward to completion because of emotions. I'm not the girl that's going to tell you you need to work 7 days a week to be successful. That's just simply not true. In fact, that's like going to work on a 6-pack of beer. Like entrepreneurs, C-level executives, all employees, athletes, you all need recovery time. If you don't have recovery time, you can't operate at your best. You cannot resent your life, your business, your career. You are responsible for the calendar. You are responsible for prioritizing right. Everything comes down to the prioritization. Do you want to ask me the number one thing while I'll tell you why somebody fails or succeeds? It's actually not because they're good at sales or bad at sales, because I can teach you that. It's not because you're good at marketing or bad at marketing, because there's like 3 to 4 marketing strategies that if you just only did that, you'd be successful. 2 of them will make you millions of dollars every single month if you want. People get overcomplicated and want to create so many different things that just bleed out the profits. Okay, so that's not the problem. The problem is you can't prioritize. I'm going to tell you like I know. Prioritization is the hardest thing that I've had, and the hardest thing our team has in growing Heartcore and growing their lives is, how do I prioritize the right things to get it all done? Hear it now? How do I get it all done and prioritize the right things? Because when you prioritize the right things, it creates space in your life, and that space allows you to get it all done. I'm going to prove this to you. So now what I need you to do is we're going to track from the space of curiosity, not from the space of you're good, bad, evil, amazing. I don't need you to be like, I'm a superstar because I finished the whole day. We're all going to be jealous of you. We actually just need you to find your breaking point. So about every third day in my week, I would break my word to myself. No wonder my income was inconsistent. I broke my word to myself in working out, broke my word to myself with the person I was dating at the time. I've broken this routine, so I don't have it anymore, but I found it with this exercise. I was like, no wonder my income and my results and my relationships are inconsistent. I'm the problem, not him. I'm the problem, not the recession. I'm the problem, not, and I don't mean it from a negative way. I actually mean it from a completely responsible way, that now I can do something about it. So number one, I need you to set the target for this quarter. I need you, the one thing needs to go up on the wall. It can't be in a book. It needs to be on a wall. Okay. If you don't put it on a wall, you're not coachable and you're not going to get the results. I can't guarantee you any results if you don't follow the coaching. Target needs to go up on the wall. Second thing is, you need to count down the target. Every day you are tracking, there needs to be movement for that target. Okay, like you need to see it coming together every day. You need to be obsessed with that target. You need to clear your calendar so that becomes the target. Everything else bleeds. You've got that thing that's emotional in your life that needs attention, that needs to get on the calendar today. Whether it's a hard conversation, whether it's a workout, whether it's food prep time for you, whatever it is, whether it's childcare, whether you need to go on care.com, which we don't have in Puerto Rico, and find somebody to come and for $20 an hour, do your laundry, clean your house. I can't afford it. Well, then you should have a target of money this month. And you should be raising your standards that I show you how to do that in the next 3 weeks, because you can't afford not to do it. If you're emotionally getting taken out by something, it's not about discipline. Discipline, well, that's not true. Let me stop for a second. Discipline is critical, but willpower is emotional. And there's nobody on this planet that willpower is consistent all the time. That's why you hear so many high performers talk about discipline, doing it when they don't feel like it. That doing it when you don't feel like it is the thing that actually gives us trust. You want to build confidence, do things when you don't feel like it. The only way I know how to do it. Confidence doesn't come from a lay down on setting a target and hitting it, because there's going to be targets that it takes everything in you to hit it. That's discipline. So if you don't want to wash the car and you said you're going to wash the car, trust me, you got to wash the car. Because it's doing the things in those moments that actually build your confidence. How many guys need confidence? Put the word confidence in the comment section. I just told you how to solve it. That should be a major way of being this month. That you're just looking for all the moments that you want to let yourself off the hook when you don't feel like it. Daily tracker every hour. I would recommend you set an alarm that goes off every hour. And you check your sheet every hour. Did you create the result that you said you're going to? Yes or no, not maybe. not sort of, not kind of. And I want you to spot the patterns. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to talk about how to spot the patterns that we're going to close over the next 3 weeks. So let's summarize this. You got a target. This target tells us what the target was for this quarter. This quarter will be successful if I hit this result. What is that? Make sure that that is in the comments section. I need to see that. Okay. What is the emotional thing that's breaking down in your personal life that is bleeding? I need you to put the word bleed and what that is. I need to see it. There's going to be a theme. And you should reread the comments, by the way, on Facebook, on not Instagram, but Facebook and on YouTube. You should read the comments. Why? You're going to not feel alone. There's nothing wrong with you, my friend. There's nothing wrong with you. You're in a season. We're going to break a cycle. And when that cycle breaks, this season's going to come together. The goosebumps were right. And that's because we're going to change your leadership for the next 3 weeks. Anybody can do anything for 3 weeks, right? We can do anything for 3 weeks. You can be imperfect. You can be completely walk into so many roadblocks. But because we're together on Shanda on Demand, we're going to walk through them. Cool? But you need to have those 3 things put together for me, for us to take the rest of the week forward. Okay, so target. Let bleed the other targets that are not as important. I know they're important, but let's what's the one target that needs to happen this quarter to make you feel like you're on track this year? We're going to let go of the idea that it's impossible in 3 weeks. So you're going to let me and my team coach you. Okay. Yes. Put yes if you're game. Then I'm going to ask you to track from the minute you wake up every hour. From the minute you wake up till the time that you go to bed. Have a piece of paper that you track every hour on the hour. So if you get up at 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, right? And I want you to track it. I want you to know that I'm going to talk about this tomorrow, about how to read that tracking, because the data never lies, but sometimes the interpreter does. We've seen that over the last few years. The data never lies, but sometimes the interpreter does. Who reads the data from what mindset and from what you're looking for will determine how we prioritize. I'm going to show you how to never miss targets, which is going to impact the rest of your year. Yes, you can have an amazing relationship. You can be in great shape. You don't have to settle for the excuse that you're lazy. Most humans are. We can develop the discipline over the next 3 weeks, and we can build the confidence by you doing the things you don't feel like doing. I'm not expecting perfection. I'm just expecting commitment. And if I can get that, I promise you're going to have a great end to your first quarter. Who's excited about that? Put me. Who's excited about that? Put me. If you're watching right now and you're not in the Shanda experience, I will ask our team to drop a link on the social channels, not here on Zoom. But for $30, you can join me for the rest of the month. I'm going to end this Shanda on Demand right now. You're going to put your target up on the wall. You're going to create your worksheet that you're going to track every hour. You're going to do it every Monday through Friday this week. I'm going to show you how to interpret that tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to show you how to read the data, close the bleeds, and hit the gaps. We're going to focus on money-making activities this quarter, or this next 3 weeks, and we're going to close the gap. Okay. But if you want to go deeper with me, where I could hear about your situation, hear about what's happening in your life, hear about what maybe you can't get over, the thing you can't get over, then I'm going to invite you to join me inside of the Shanda on Demand VIP experience. Guys, what is the link for that? Again, is it join? I don't have it written in front of me. Jonathan, just pop up and tell me.
Join me in VIP.com.
Join me in VIP.com. Join me in VIP.com. And tomorrow, we should just offer this one more time tomorrow and have it pop up on the screen if you guys don't mind. Okay, great. Awesome, you guys. You have your marching orders for today. It's going to be a really good end to the first quarter because we ain't going to settle. We ain't going to settle for anything but high standards for yourself. You guys game for that? Yes? So I'm going to end on this last story. My husband said to me, Shanda, you hold high standards for yourself. And that's why you hit the results that you do. You often don't hold other people in those high standards unless they're your clients. I want to show you all how to hold yourself in a level of high standard so you can rely on yourself. I know it's tough to rely on other people. I know it is the next level leadership. You got to rely on yourself. Then you got to learn how to rely on other people, but they're not the problem. It's us. The way that we communicate, the way that we share our leadership, the way that we share our visions, the way that we track. But first, before you can lead anybody else, you got to learn how to lead yourself. And once you learn how to lead yourself, then you can start leading other people. And when that starts to happen, I'm telling you, you don't change the world in your prospective industry by yourself. It's not about you being a superstar and holding all of the weight on your own shoulders. You and I are all going through our next human experience and moving ourselves to the next level of leadership. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with anybody on our team. If you have a willingness or a commitment to go the next level, that's all you need. Now, of course, if you have an unwillingness or you won't do the job, then that's a whole nother thing. That means you're uncoachable. I suggest that you're coachable this month, and I suggest that we close the first quarter off so strong that it gives you such momentum that when you set your quarterly goals for next quarter, you're not thinking realistically, you're thinking, holy, you know what? I'm going to hit this big goal. All right, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know time changes are changing, and so I don't know, but just look at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now I have drills out here. I love this stuff. I got drills out here now. So I'm going to go back inside. I'm going to work with the VIP experience next, you guys, and I'll see you at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow morning, Monday through Friday on Shanda On Demand.